Good day, guys. I hope we are all good. We're just going to have a quick one. I didn't have anything solid from the morning, so I decided to come now on the charts and see if we can get something since it's the close of the 4 hour candle and the new 4 hour candle is just opened. Before I started this Zoom, we shared a signal, a buy on 48.16. Let me just check when we sent it in the group. It was on 48. 48.15. Okay. That was the current market price. So the reason I'm seeing that sell is that if we look at the daily, today I just wanted to start from the H4, but just to take this particular one to the daily. This price action here, okay, liquidity was taken, yes. Sellers induced. What I feel like will happen is price will continue pushing up based on the daily because I'm seeing this particular rejection here. Right, so I also have a buy limit here where price might actually extend the lows before pushing up. These are just probabilities and possibilities of how price can play out. So going to H4, I don't have much here except this consolidation here. So just be paying attention here to see how price plays out around the zone. But otherwise, I'm still with a bullish bias, even though it is. Yeah. Okay, let's see. So on the H1, again, H1 is giving me some confluence. We've got a nice W here with a nice doji on the 200 EMA. So could price come back down? That's possible. That's why we've got a buy limit here. But can price go up? Yes, that's possible. That's why we currently have two positions in. I actually scaled in as I started this session. So H1 for me, I also have a trend line here, which you see. So if price does come above the trend line, I'm also looking to add onto the buys. So M30, nothing much in terms of price action, but you can see the trend line is a bit clearer here. Okay, so what I'm looking for is something like this. This already, if price closes with a nice solid green here, this will be a definite order block where price can retrace to and actually continue pushing up. So that's the current setup I have. That's the current anticipation I have as well on B500. Okay, what could possibly happen? If price comes below today's lows, that's where my stop loss is. This is where I'll close my trade. Then I'll be looking for price to come around the 800 EMA. Our buy limit is on 47.70, which will be somewhere around here. So I'm sure we can risk that as we assess if the pattern is holding here. So if the pattern holds here, then we can scale in onto the runner and we'll target whatever pips depending on the particular setup on that area. But for now, this is the setup, and I'm basically targeting areas above today's high for this first impulsive move, then a pullback to the order block and a possible continuation up or a possible continuation back to this high, maybe for price to come down. But our main focus right now is here. So that's my current view for B500. C1000, I think I had something earlier in the day. Okay, I was looking at it like this. So price created a pattern on the previous day's high, and this was a good sell here, scalp sell. So I've got an order block here, or you can call it a resistance zone, which is also on yesterday's high, and we also have a weekly zone there. So if price comes back into this area, we can potentially get the sell going back to yesterday's lows. That's possible. Or they could react off this moving averages here right on the zone here, right on the 50 static, right on the baseline bounds. So we could get something like this. They might actually do this So they will bounce off here, come down, then come back to the order block, then push down. These are all possibilities. So how do you approach a setup like this? What you want to do is, if you feel like price will actually play out here, let's see the number of pips back to the order block from current market price. That will be about 17. To this area, that's about 30. So can you risk 30 pips, holding 30 pips here? If the risk is worth it, then you can still open one runner position here. That's the reason we have one position open for a runner. All right. So if you don't feel like price will act here, you can just wait also for it to actually act. So you get a nameable candle, then this is the zone. So if price reacts here and we come and close below the zone, then this price will actually push down and we can take ourselves right there. But if price reacts here, comes here and bounces, it might potentially come and act right here. And this area for me is a high probability setup which will be forming here based on what I've explained. So we'll see how this one goes. We'll keep stoking it and see if it can pay us something. See 300, I was waiting to get this close below the 13 EMA and the 50. So potentially we can push down. I remember from our previous days analysis, we were looking at this zone at the top here where price came. We had short-term sells here. We had a sell here, which was taken out by this move. And we entered again here and we caught this move yesterday. I think it will be visible once I drop to M15. So today, more or less, I've got a bearish bias at the moment, looking for price to come all the way to this area since they didn't come, or at least to the 200 EMA, or maybe to these weekly lows or this week's lows. So my bias is sell. Let's see where can we enter from. So looking at H1, I don't have any visible imbalance here. Everything looks balanced. But again, bear in mind, synthetic indices or these items we trade, they're very volatile. So probabilities of price coming back to today's high and just tapping it or taking it out, it may be coming into this area, then selling are actually high. So price can still come back up here, which makes this area a point of interest for sales. So let me just mark this area as well. Make the parameters clear. 808. I'd love to use 4500 here. Okay, it's not looking really nice, but I would say that's my point of interest, and this is also my point of interest. So 44.70. Okay, those two red lines there on H1, those are my 2 points of interest for sales. But at the same time, price can just melt from this area and drop. So if it does that, just know that at this point in time, I do not have any clean pattern for me to actually execute unless maybe we come down and we come back to retest something, then we continue down. So if they want to come down now, they can come. Our setup will only form at the retracement. If they do retrace, then we'll possibly catch our trade here for a sell all the way to 4,100. That's a possible TP. So it's actually a good target. That means whatever amount we can catch within that move will do. So if you're trading C300, 50 pips and above, that's a fair target. So going to M15, you will see yesterday's trade was here. I was looking at this high, which had extended this zone. They had extended this zone, right? So we sold right here. Then price actually came, took us out. They were just extending this high. Then a pattern formed again here, and we executed. For those we executed, target was these lows, and price got there effortlessly. So sometimes it's always good to wait for the retracements. So looking at M 15 price can potentially retrace to this area, I think. That's something which we're looking at, but right now they can come into this area, right? Then drop, or they can come to our point of interest here, take out today's high or have equal highs, and then drop, or maybe tap into yesterday's highs, then drop. So these are all areas where we can sell from. So if it's here, we'll wait for the retracement. If it's here, we'll wait for a nameable candle. If it's here, we wait for a pattern. If it's here again, wait for a pattern and a nameable candle. So that's how I'm viewing C300 for the day. Just taking a look at C1. Remember, once you're actively stalking something, you need to keep checking so that price doesn't leave without you. So going to C5. Let's see how they are moving. Let's see. C5. You can see I had marked a red line here. I was actually stalking it from the morning. So I was looking at this high. Today's highs, then they extended the high here. So I was waiting for them to break here for me to sell. So they didn't break, and I didn't execute no trade. So they've set a new high now. And if we break here, we could actually get a sell, something like this, back to this level. That's what I'm currently looking for right now. So put the zone here. We remove this one. So let's see. If you follow our signals, you will notice most of the time synthetics, they extend their highs. Yesterday it happened again, then retested the zone twice before dropping. So just keep in mind to see how price actually acts when it gets to certain areas. So I'm just extending this zone to see if they're not using the same area as a resistance zone. So it could be H1, nice rejection there. Okay, we're going to sell at current market price actually. My reasoning for this and wanting to have a runner is because, okay, we are within the same zone, right, from yesterday where price retested. When price came to that zone, what did they do here? This spike shows that, okay, it's a rejection or trapped volume, or it's a stop hunt, whatever you want to call it. But for me, it shows me that this is a possible area for a retracement. So if we are going up, it's a retracement. If we are going to go down, then it's a reversal. So you should also understand what you are trading. Have your bias. Are you trading into a retracement, or are you trading a reversal or a continuation of the trend? As long as you justify your bias, then you wait for a pattern to occur. So for this to be a sell, or for this to be a reversal rather, this red line has to be broken. So if price comes and breaks 33.65 and we get a close below that zone, once we get a slight retracement, we're going to jump into that trade and we're going to hold it until we get to today's lows. That's my current view right now. So I'll also try to explain my reasoning for having a runner. 27. My reasoning for having a runner is we don't want to have, okay, let's say the price is continuing to go up and we are looking to sell and we've sold. We want to control our loss, controlling our risk right here. At the same time, if price decides to move, we don't want that emotional trauma whereby you feel like you've missed the trade or you've missed the best entry because already you have a position. So that's my reasoning behind having these runners. Each time I say have one runner, just know that's the reasoning behind. So again, H1 also has to close below the 13 EMA for the reversal to actually be valid. So this runner is an early entry to a setup which we are seeing, or to a setup which is forming. So we're going to keep stalking on this as well. Where does our stop loss go? So our stop loss goes, can I put it here? I'm trying to drag. Okay, let me rather do this. Let me put it on my phone. So the stop loss will be just, it will most likely be less than 10 pips. Most likely it will be less than 10 pips. Let's see, C500. So I'm just going to use my phone for that, and I'm going to put my stop loss. The entry is on 33.79. Yet my stop loss is going just above the current H1 candle, which is 33.87. So depending with where your entry is, for me, my stop loss is about, okay, just checking the exit price. So it's 33.79, 33.89, that's 87. So my stop loss is 8 pips on this one, on the run. So you can see risk has been calculated. Even if it is stop loss, the loss won't really affect how the rest of my day goes. So I'm going to stock on this one. Let's just check M5, see if we've got something to use there. Nothing yet. But if we come before this first red line here, I'll scale in one more position. Then if we come below this zone, remember now that's the H113 EMA, that's the safe entry for a reversal. So I'll definitely anticipate another small retracement before we get the push to the downside. So the target here will be 33.80. So that's 100 pips from our current runner to the TP. Okay, it's not 100 pips. Let me see. Am I talking things correct here? We entered the 33.80, 33.30. Okay, that's actually 50 pips. From the runner to where our target is actually 33.30, and our entry is around 33.80. Okay, so that distance there is 50 pips. If we can catch 30 clean pips, that's still perfect. So remember, there's someone who's going to wait and trade only the safe entry. So from where we want to enter, around 33.60 to 33.30 or 33.32, that's a clean 30 pip move. So always calculate your risk, calculate your pips, calculate your target, and just wait for price to do what it does. So C500, I think that's it. I don't have anything else to explain here. B1 has been bullish, as you can see, but I would love to trade retracements. Right, we are bearish. I would love to trade retracements. If I look to my left, liquidity has been taken here, so we could get a potential retracement here. So let's see, we have a reason to buy. This is a nice I'm actually using 0.3. That's a nice rejection there, liquidity being taken out. We have a nice pin bar there. So what can price potentially do? So through screen time, you should know if price reaches where you feel like it's the low of that day, there's certain things which price does. So you see this red line I'm putting here, that's today's lows, right? I don't know. I'm thinking I should have actually opened this trade on the other account, but anyways, let's just use this one. So I'm going to use 33,600. Let's see how that looks. Okay, it's a bit low, so we're just going to come right on today's lows. So by marking this, we are anticipating where this price can actually drop to. So that's 34 pips with 3 lots. So we're risking about $10 with our runner. For what potential? For a potential of about at least 50 to 100 points or 100 pips. Okay, so if we're selling, this would be a point of interest, right? If we were selling, let's say we're not looking at what this asset is, and we're looking at this downtrend happening today. If you're selling, all these zones are marking, these would be points of interest for us to actually sell from. Okay, let me mark this one. These are points of interest. We've been pushing down since the day opened, and we haven't had a major retracement. And right now with these price actions, especially after liquidity, since liquidity has been taken out, okay, let me extend this zone as well. Let me actually do it like this, because this is a zone here where price can actually come and bounce off as well. So looking at the price like this, price now, we're looking for a pattern in a smaller time frame, so we can drop down to, let's say, M5. M5, we do not have an order block within here, except for this one here. Right? Maybe within here there's something. Maybe let's look at M3. So price might come here, then do this. Price might come to the equal lows, then do this. These are just like anticipations based on how I've seen price move, especially when prices reached an area where I think like this could be the low of the day. So dropping to M3, looking for an order block there. So the order block which I was referring to is right here. So the smaller the time frame, the less the probability of the area holding. That's also something you should know. But since we've got a bias of what we think is actually happening, this is actually a high probability area where we can actually buy from. So from there, what you do is you want to put your buy limits. I'm going to use the PC for this. I'm not sure if this particular tab where the positions are being opened, I'm not sure if it's visible, but yeah, this is how you do it. Then you want to check what's the exact price there, 33, slightly above 33,630. Or 13,630 rather. Don't know where I'm getting the 33. 13,630. Volume is 0.3, please. Okay, so unfortunately my positions, I removed that line where you see, but you can see the buy limit is there on the far left, and it should be right within this zone. So if this zone holds, that means it's a pattern which will be forming, right? Once we start getting spikes here, that's where you see we start scaling in. And once we confirm we scale in again, especially if we get retracements within that move, and this is a target, this is a target, the price will then potentially continue pushing down. So on this particular setup, we are buying into a retracement. So M15 is looking like this. And yeah, let me just make this one straight. Right, that's it. So that's it for B1. B5, we have our runners. We're checking how our price is moving. Is it going to pay us? Do we need to scale in? Let's see. So we've got an order block here. M5. So what do I want to see on M5 for me to scale in? What I want to see is a possible BLB here on TDI, confirming something. So this price can still come back down here, all the way to the last candle here within this area, before it actually pushes up. And knowing B500, they can come all the way back to this zone as well before they actually push up. So You should know your assets. Whatever you trade doesn't have to be B500. You should know its behavior. This one is very erratic. Sometimes price might want to move from point A. Okay, let me try to use a clean sheet. How B500 moves. For those who trade B500, I think you will agree with me. Let me use a whiteboard for this. So let's say price wants to push up from point A to point B. The normal price wave will be like this, right? You want clean moves, high highs, high lows. That's an uptrend, right? So what B5 usually does now is you get that, okay, the pattern, let's say the pattern is formed and we bounced off something here, right? So this is a zone. This is also now a zone. This is also a zone. B5 will, okay, respect the zone here. We know we're now buying. It will push up. You're in the trade. It will come back down to your entry. It will push up. It will push down. Then it will push up. It will push down. It moves in such an erratic and slow behavior in such a way that if you're in a trade, you might think of actually exiting that trade because the way it's moving sometimes and most of the times, especially these past few months, this is how it moves. It rarely moves in a day whereby you get such a clean move the way B1000 does. You see, so between the two, you can already tell if you are trading them and if you're following them, you understand how these assets actually move. So once you understand how they move, then you can anticipate what they can do. That way, you don't get too shocked or too scared if you see price retracing to your entries. So this one can potentially come down here, although we would love for it to just push from where it is. So going to J10, we have this zone marked from yesterday. Price reacted once. For those who caught it, reacted twice. For those who caught it, almost the third time. So what are we anticipating today? Price is sort of moving sideways for the past 1.5 days. So there's nothing too clean here except the range. So the best trades out of J10 right now would be, the first thing you want to do is just to mark the top of that range. Mark the bottom of that range. So this is the immediate price action, right? Let's remove these. Okay, so we've got a range to play with. If price comes to this area and gives us a nameable candle or a pattern, obviously we're going to sell from here and we're going to take profit here. If price comes here, gives a pattern, we're going to buy from here, take profit at the top here. If price breaks, we're going to wait for the breakout, retest, and we're going to buy from there. If they break out and come back down, we're still going to sell and take profit on the bottom. So that one, we're just keeping it simple and we're working with what they're giving us within this range. On the H4 for me would look like they want to push up into this first gray zone on our H1. So we just have to wait though. It would have been nice to actually buy it here so that our stop loss is tight. We can buy here unless you want to put your stop loss here, but then they can come back and retest this before pushing back up to this zone. That's why we don't really like to buy here. Let's rather wait for them to react here or here before we take our trade. So that's it for J10. On V25S, we had a buy yesterday, buy stop somewhere here, early entries in here, and the price actually moved. They didn't get to where exactly I wanted them to get, but if you're trading V250 or any of these indices which move fast or which pay a lot within a small move, you should know that within this one candle, you would have been done. So I would advise scalping, especially for those with small accounts. But if you've got a big account, then you can hold for the full setups. So today, what am I looking at? Today, I don't have anything solid at the moment, no pattern. Maybe we might break here, take liquidity. Remember, we've got a zone here where price can still come to. Yesterday, we were looking at price retracing to this area, right? And continuing down. So they actually retraced to the 50 EMA and they are pushing down, and they can potentially push down to this gray zone. But at the moment, I do not have any clean setup which I can say if they do this, I'll do that. For now, I do not have anything clean here. But points of interest would be this zone here and this zone on the bottom. But within where the price is for now, I do not see anything clear. Okay, same applies yesterday. Price did this. Right there was no pattern until they did this. That for me was a pattern, then we executed. So for now, again, I do not have anything solid. So B5, B5, B5 should actually pay us, man. The fact that it moves the way it moves is just what I hate, but it should pay us. So you can see B1, that's a pattern right there. See the way the last M15 candle closed, and this one is showing momentum to come up, and we've got one runner position there, which is already in 20 pips of profit. So I'm gonna check my phone to confirm. Yeah, 20 pips. So just to explain the pips again, maybe there's somebody who has missed some of our sessions, because I try to explain these things. If you're in the Telegram group, then you definitely know, because usually with most of the signals, I explain the pip values. So I'm just going to explain it quickly here. If you enter here, this position, if you enter 0.20 times the 20 pips which the price is currently moved, you would get $4 on that trade. If you enter with 0.30, like what you see on our runner, that trade is currently running, or just now it was on $6. If you enter with 0.50 times 20 pips, that should give you $10. If you enter same trade, one lot size times 20, that'll give you $20. And as your account size is going higher, your risk is going higher, the reward is also going higher. The same position now on a 10 standard lot size, same move would give you 200. And with the maximum lot size available on these synthetic indices, boom and crash, which is 50 standard lot size, you would get 1,000 from that trade. So this just shows you, like, excuse me, if you are on a small account, like 4 figures, excuse me, 4 figures coming down, you're probably playing within these lot sizes. If your account size is 4 figures going down, you probably playing within these lot sizes. If it's $100, excuse me, $100 and below, you probably playing around these lot sizes, even these lot sizes, right? So what you see is, if you've got confidence, or if your price is moving, then you see scaling in multiple positions, 5 positions. So now if you have 0.30 times 10 positions, that's now 3 lots. Get it? 3 lot sizes, and if it moves 20 pips, that should be about $30. So for now, work on consistency, cash in on the 4s, the 6s, the 10s. As you grow, start cashing in on the 20. As you grow 200, as you grow 1,000 plus. You get it? So that's it on the lot sizes. And B1, we'll leave it like this. We might scale in, actually. actually want to scale in. It's just that now on this account, we also have B3 and we also have C. I think there's a C which we entered. Oh, I think it took us out. C500, I think it took us out. Let me check. Yeah, C500 took us out. So you can see they didn't break below to confirm the particular pattern which was playing out here. So if that doesn't happen, that's fine. We take the loss. Dealer will extend the high, give us another pattern maybe here at the top. So that's all there is. Managing your risk and capitalizing and scaling in on the winners. That's the blueprint right there. H1, you can see that reversal 0.3. Okay, here is another trick which I want to share with you guys. So if you're trading like this, let me just move. I'm trying to move this. All right. Okay, I'm going to get another buy there. If you're in a setup or two setups, my example is going to be like this. So let's say you've got trades running on B500 like this, but you feel like B500 is not moving towards your intended direction. It's actually going towards your stop loss, right? And it's not playing out. Then at the same time, you see that you have a setup on B1, which is playing out. So our risk here was what? We had 0.30 times what? Times two positions, right? That's our risk. So what you can do is you can close these trades before they hit stop loss, which means you literally minimize your risk by far since you've closed before they hit your stop loss. But then you can use those same bullets on B1000. So you come to B1000 now and you add maybe one or two more positions which you have closed on the other asset. So as long as this one plays out now, it will actually cash in the same amount you're anticipating from both these assets. So that's one of the tricks I use, especially if I'm having one setup which is not playing out and one setup which looks like it's playing out. I usually cut loss on the loser, scale in on the winner, and I just let price go. And at the end of the day, you still end up reaching your daily target. So I think that's all I have to share for today. C1000, this is a huge high probability zone. Let's keep stalking it. B5 will potentially move. B1 has to at least get up to this zone or at least somewhere here. But if they pay us 50 pips, I'll still be done since we are buying into a retracement and price can turn down at any point since this is a downtrend. Sometimes they won't get to the zone. They'll keep pushing wherever they are pushing since that's the current trend. So remember here we are buying into a retracement of a downtrend. So I think that's it for today. I don't have anything else to share. If I do have anything different or any updates in terms of signals to the setups I've shared here, then I'll share those on Telegram. So enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Good trading.